Hey guys, it's Mr. Dugal, and today we're going to talk through finding unit rate when it involves fractions. So sometimes you'll have two different units. So let's say we have 3/4 a cup of sugar for every or per. Remember with rates, that line can mean for every or per. So 3/4 a cup of sugar per every 1/8 cup of butter. And remember, with unit rates, I need the denominator to be 1. So how many cups of sugar is it for 1 cup of butter? When I go to find a unit rate when it comes to two units that are fractions, I want you to visualize what I would do if the numbers were whole numbers. So let's, for example, say 12 cups of sugar for 3 cups of butter. How would you solve this if you were aiming to find a unit rate? Well, I would simply just divide the top number by the bottom number. So I would do 12 cups of sugar divided by 3 cups of butter. Gives me 4 cups of sugar for 1 cup of butter. That's the same thing with fractions. So I'm just going to do 3/4 divided by 1/8. And the strategy that most of us have felt most comfortable with is the keep, change, flip method, where I flip the second fraction into its reciprocal and I change the division into multiplication. It works because we are working backwards with dividing a fraction. So we're going to do 3/4 times 8/1 equals some number. I can simplify this down to cancel. 4 goes into 8 twice. So there are 2 4s in 8, and only 1 4 and 4. 3 times 2 is 6 for the top, and I get a denominator of 1. So there are 6 cups of sugar per 1 cup of butter. To do one more example, you might say 4/5 cup of flour per 2/3. Use sugar again, a cup of sugar. To find the unit rate per 1 cup of sugar, I'm going to divide. Again, we're going to keep, change, flip. 4/5 divided by 2/3 is the same as 4/5 times 3/2, 2/3 reciprocal. This time I could simplify because there are 2 2s in 4 and only 1 2 in 2. 2 times 3 is 6 up top. 5 times 1 is 5 on bottom. 6/5 can be simplified to either 1 1/5 or as a decimal we would say 1 0.2. And when it comes to unit rate, that's the most common way to do this, is to have a decimal up top. The reason being is because if not, we have a fraction over a fraction, which doesn't look as tidy. So we have 1.2 cups of flour per every 1 cup of sugar. So when it comes to unit rates, when we have fractions involved, it isn't really any different. It just looks a little goofy, but remember, we're just dividing fractions, just like we would divide whole numbers. Seen right there.